Live from Fox Field on the campus, the University of Lynchburg, you're watching college baseball action on LHSN. The number 5 team in the country, Lynchburg, plays host to the number 24 squad in the land, Christopher Newport University. Going to be a fun battle and the second meeting in just as many days between the Hornets and the Captains. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in and giving us some of your time on a Sunday afternoon. TJ Wingert with you to take you through all the action, run you through some of the numbers coming into this contest. Even in regards, pretty close to even, I should say. In the runs per game, batting average mirrors one another. The pitching staffs are identical. A little bit of an edge for CNU, and the strikeouts per 9, the fielding percentages are close to one another as well. Christopher Newport coming from a 3-team coast-to-coast conference, Lynchburg, and a deeper ODAC conference. We'll talk about how these two teams have these numbers stack up inside their respective conferences. Yesterday, these two teams went toe-to-toe. That was out at Christopher Newport. Lynchburg comes away with a 9-4 win, and it was a big Hornets showing early on. Before getting to the bottom of the 7th, Lynchburg jumped out to a 7-0 lead. CNU responds with 4 runs across. In the bottom of the 7th, Lynchburg gets 2 runs of insurance at the top of the 9th to bring that game to its 9-4 final score. That gave the Hornets their 22nd win of the season. Christopher Newport suffered their 7th loss, and a chance for CNU to respond today. Show the starting lineups, as leading things off will be Connor Clark for Christopher Newport. Some other names to keep your eye on throughout the rest of the order. The cleanup man, Daniel Elliott, also leads the coast-to-coast conference in saves, so we might see some dual position opportunities there for him. Also want to highlight a player like Jonathan Fisher, lower average than where he was a season ago, but first team all coast-to-coast last year. First pitch swinging, Clark skies one, up the left field line. Neves gives chase but won't get to it. And, of course, the starting pitcher today for Lynchburg, number 33, Nick Matfield. Matfield become a regular as the number 2 starting arm for the Hornets. Sophomore from Suffolk, Virginia. Matfield ahead in the count, 0-1. Today becomes the 8th start of the season. Matfield holds a 4-0 record, a 2.78 ERA. Misses outside on the 0-1. Rest of the numbers for Matfield, it's 32 and a third innings tossed, 35 strikeouts, 10 walks. Opponents hitting just 185 against. Two balls and a strike. Clark, fly ball to his counterpart in center. Carson Atkins trots back and makes the grab for out number 1. Good start today for Matfield.
Now batting, number 4, Scott Crossan.
And now it's Scott Crossan stepping into the box. It's a pair of left-handed hitters to start off the order today for the Captains as a squad hitting .293. That's technically last in the coast-to-coast conference, again, of a 3-team league. I think a lot of college coaches will tell you .293, that's an average that will certainly hold and get the job done. Crossan chases one downstairs, now trails in the count 0-2. Crossan forced to put up a defensive swing. Keeps the count at 0-2. Crossan this season hitting .351. He started all 27 games this year for CNU. Season ago, an all-conference honoree. In and out of the glove of Josh Jorman. The toss to first, not in time. Matfield was covering the bag, but Crossan aboard at first. So 1 on, 1 down. Justin Bauer stepped in the plate. And that will be charged as an error against Lynchburg. 51st of the season for the Hornets. Lynchburg Fielding percentage just up and over 95% prior to today's game getting underway. First pitch to Bowers. Misses the zone. Bowers swinging a great bat this year as well. 372 on the average. Today becomes the 24th start of the season. Throw to first. Cross and slides back safely. Runner on at first is 7 for 7 on stolen base attempts. The throw over and again Crossan back in time. Bowers, top of the conference in a number of statistical categories. How about 4th in the coast-to-coast conference in batting average, 4th in RBIs, leads the league in home runs with 8. Slicing towards right field and down for a base knock. First hit of the day for CNU. Throw goes to second. Short hops in front of Collins. Backing up the play is Jackson. It's a double for Bowers. Crossan moves up to third. Bowers collects his 11th double of the season. And now 2 on in scoring position for CNU. They come to this contest after Lynchburg not only won yesterday, but really got to a strong start. It felt like the first 3 innings of today's contest were going to be huge. For Lynchburg, if you're up by a couple runs, let's say, through the first 3 innings, it's a validation of yesterday's win. Meanwhile, for CNU, you're looking to deliver that first punch and say, hey, that was yesterday's game. Sunday, it's a brand new contest, and we're here to fight in Lynchburg. First pitch off the outside corner, maybe a tad high to Daniel Elliott, second baseman and switch hitter for the Captains. As I noted at the top of the broadcast, also with 4 saves this season, he as well as CNU starting pitcher that we'll see in the bottom half of this inning, Jay Cassidy. 2-way players. Now a 2-0 count. Matfield falls behind. This is a tough bat to put into a hitter's count. Got to be careful here, especially with 2 ducks in scoring position, only 1 out in the frame. Fiedler sets up on the outside corner. Matfield misses off the outside black. Count swells, 3 balls and no strikes. Give you the defensive alignment for Lynchburg. Battery mate for Matfield is the aforementioned Holden Fiedler. Out at third is Garrett Jackson. Starting at short, it's Gavin Collins. At second, P.J. Alvanos with Josh Jorman at first. In the outfield from right to left has Logan Webster in right, Carson Atkins in center, Avery Neves out and left. And the DH, watching all this unfold, is Riley O'Donovan. 3-0, close, but misses outside. First walk issued by Matfield today. After retiring Connor Clark with a fly out to center. You look back at that E3 against Jorman. Really has set the table for the Captains to strike early on. Crossan, the beneficiary of the error, on at third. Behind him is Bowers, fresh off his 11th double of the season. He stands in scoring position at second, and Daniel Elliott now aboard via the base on balls. Corners playing for Lynchburg. Middle infield at double play depth as left fielder Michael Marchurano comes to plate for the first time today, and Marchurano takes a fastball in the outside corner. Strong start to this at-bat for Matfield, and that's going to be the focus here against Marchurano, and on deck, the DH, Alec Riley. Get ahead in the count, put yourself in a favorable position, try to get through this inning unscathed, or at least hold it to a productive out that gets CNU on the board and limit the damage to 1. Breaking ball sent to the screen. Pitchers count now at 0-2. Lynchburg's been stellar at playing at home this year as well, 14-1. Looking to improve upon that mark this season. On the other side, CNU 4-2 when playing on the road. Matfield way ahead, 0-2. Slider off the outside corner. Last time Nick Matfield took the bump was in a 3-2 win in Game 2 of a doubleheader last weekend at Ferrum. 5 innings tossed, 5 strikeouts, 1 earned run, 1 walk issued by Matfield as well. 1-2. on the outside corner. Margerano not happy with the call, but the backwards K results in the first strikeout for Matfield and a massive second out to the inning. Base is still loaded, though, so CNU continues to knock on the door. They bring Alec Riley to the plate. The DH today. This becomes his 15th start of the season. Average at 304. Has 7 RBIs to go with it. Right on left matchup. Change up. Drops off the outside corner to start the count at 1-0. You'll see Matfield use that changeup more often against left-handed bats, and there's a fair amount of lefties in the order today for CNU. Connor Clark, the leadoff man. Scott Cross, we've already seen. Elliott's a switch hitter. You have Riley at the plate now. And then 7 through 9 after Riley are right-handed hitters. 1-0. Same pitch. This time finds the outside corner. Evens the count at 1-1. Matfield at the chest, misses down below the knees, 2-1. And for those wondering, full repertoire for Matfield. He's got a couple of arm slots, fastball, slider, changeup, curveball. He can give you a lot of different pitches and a lot of different ways given those two different arm angles. But here's Matfield falling behind 3-1 to Riley. Have to come at him. Matfield does just that. Pumps the fastball past Riley to make it 3-2. The runners will be in motion. CNU didn't score a run yesterday until the bottom of the 7th. They could jump out in front in the top of the 1st. Payoff pitch. Sent to second. Alvanos fields. Tosses to first. And Nick Matfield gets himself out of trouble in the top of the 1st inning. 3 runners left on for CNU. The exact opposite of what the captains were hoping for in their first chance at the plate. Halfway through the 1st, we'll step aside and come back. The home half of the frame, get our first look at the Lynchburg offense.
When you come to the University of Lynchburg to earn a master's degree in athletic training, you'll spend time in the classroom, but you'll also spend a lot of time in our top-notch facilities learning from athletic trainers and working closely with our student athletes. In the Graduate Cadaver Lab, you'll learn about the human body in the best way possible by actually studying the human body. This will provide a foundation to make you a much better athletic trainer. In the athletic training laboratory, you'll get hands-on experience, practicing your skills, applying concepts from the classroom, and working with faculty on research projects. It's also where our hydrotherapy facilities are. This space is also used by students for studying and practicing skills outside of class time. In the Sports Medicine Clinic and Turner Gymnasium, you'll work with student athletes from more than 20 NCAA Division III sports teams, helping get them back to practice and into the game as soon as possible. As an athletic training student, you're a big part of the success of our sports teams and the success of the local athletic teams. We see this relationship as a win-win situation. You learn, and that helps us win.
Bottom of the 1st inning, time to introduce the home starting lineup for Lynchburg. Hornets coming to the plate, leading things off is Logan Webster. Some other bats to keep your eye on throughout the order. Of course, Avery Neves, 3 RBIs yesterday, including a moonshot to left center field. PJ Alvanos, top 10 in the ODAC in RBIs, and also Holden Fiedler enjoyed a nice afternoon yesterday with 4 ribbies in the win against the Captains. First pitch of the day for Jay Cassidy. Southpaw attacks the outside corner and starts his afternoon with a called strike. Cassidy holds a 6-1 record this season. Today marks his 8th start, 10th appearance all told. 2.15 ERA through 46 innings tossed. Webster chases downstairs, now trails the count 0-2. More numbers for Cassidy. 71 strikeouts to 10 walks. That's certainly a big strength up the sleeve of Cassidy. An opponent's hitting just .216 against. Cassidy, a two-way player, also a first baseman for CNU. Elevates, letter high pitch, driven out to right. Back goes Crossan, and able to cover the necessary ground. Retires Webster for out number 1. Give you the defensive alignment for the captains. Battery mate today for Cassidy is Drew Caroline. Out at first is Justin Bowers. At second is Daniel Elliott. Starting at short, first team all-conference member last year, Jonathan Fisher. And at third is Braden Hodges. The outfield from left to right, Michael Martirano is in left. Connor Clark starts in center. Scott Cross, we saw making that first play in right field. And the DH watching it all unfold is Alec Riley. First pitch, attacking that inside corner. Josh Dorman watches the first pitch he gets, in for a strike. And these left-on-left battles will be really interesting. One, you would look at that conventionally and say that's an advantage for Cassidy. But especially when he'll attack the inside corner, if you're familiar with these Lynchburg broadcasts, you've heard it 1,000 times over where the Hornets have a team approach of standing on top of the plate, trying to get barrels on outside corners and to take away that inside corner. Left on left, that could really serve as an advantage for Cassidy, who misses down and outside, making it 2-1. But that's because these left on left spots, and even right on right, you could say, but I think that's common enough to where the advantage is dissipated. But left on left, it's really hard for a guy like Jorman to pick up the baseball. When you're getting a late read and it's coming inside, you have to be quick with those hands. And if you're playing behind, so to speak, not getting a clean read of the ball coming out of the hand of Cassidy, it's almost impossible to get the barrel out and around in time. But tangent aside, Jorman aided by Cassidy. Not able to find the strike zone. 3-1. Lined into the screen. Now it's a full count. Jordan becoming a staple of the Lynchburg starting lineup. 7th start this season. And he's been slotted in this 2 spot over the last handful of games for the Hornets. Hitting .441 this season. Payoff pitch. Misses up and inside. Just the 11th walk issued by Cassidy this season. So just like CNU in the top half this inning, 1-on-1 down for the 3-hole hitter, Garrett Jackson. Jackson's average has dipped down to .259. Still somebody with plenty of pop. 10 extra base hits this year, 6 doubles, a triple, and 3 home runs. First pitch to Jackson misses high and away, and another reason he's towards the top of the order. Top 6 in the ODAC and walks drawn, and Lynchburg has a myriad of players inside the top 10. I mean, makes sense. P.J. Alvanos first in the ODAC and walks. I can see why pitchers don't want to throw to him. He's on deck. We'll get to see him barring a double play as Cassidy finds the outside corner to even the count. But even players like P.J. Alvanos, 3rd in the ODAC and walks. Jackson is noted 6th. Carson Atkins leads the league in strikeouts, but also tied for 9th in base on balls drawn. (1-1) sent to third, grabbed by Hodges. And CNU goes around the horn, 5-4-3 to have Jay Cassidy face the minimum in his first inning of action. 39th double play turned by CNU this season brings a close to the first inning of action. Hornets and captains duking it out on LHSN. Welcome back to Lynchburg, Virginia. Top of the second inning. Lynchburg and CNU unable to get a run on the board in the first inning. And leading things off for CNU
Now batting number 3.
is Braden Hodges, followed by Drew Caroline, then Jonathan Fisher. Hodges started the 5-4-3 double play we saw end the first inning of action. And now with Hodges stepping to the plate. Right-handed hitter, hitting .250 this year. Takes the first pitch, in for a strike. First inning for Nick Matfield certainly came with an elevated heart rate. Bases got loaded. Just one out in the inning. But Matfield did a great job, buckled down specifically against Marcherano, then Alec Riley. Backwards K against the CNU left fielder, followed it up with Riley grounding out to second. The 0-2 slider popped up. First base side in foul territory. Fiedler ranges to the CNU dugout and makes the grab for out number 1. That brings the 8-hole hitter and catcher Drew Caroline to the plate. In the 7-8-9 part of the Christopher Newport order. All right-handed bats. Matfield with an advantage here. You'd like to see him get that 1-2-3 second inning after a rocky first with runners reaching and 3 stranded by Christopher Newport. There's a chance facing the bottom third of the order, get some confidence and some momentum before you see the top of the lineup again in the third. First pitch, knee high, and a called strike to Caroline. Breaking ball sent to the screen. Pitcher's count at 0-2. Lynchburg is a squad up and over 10 strikeouts per 9 innings. Strikeout numbers for Matfield have been stellar coming into today. 35 Ks, already got 1 this afternoon. Chance for number 2, and he's got it. Slider, waved at a miss. Caroline goes down. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night for out number 2. So you look at the start of the day for Matfield. Retires the first he faces, then crosses and reaches through the air. You have the double from Bowers, walk to Elliott. Now 4 in a row set down, dating back to the final 2 outs last inning. And it's Jonathan Fisher, the shortstop, named first team all coast to coast last year, hitting just over 200 this season. Breaking ball on the outside corner. Count starts at 0-1. And Fisher was an interesting player. You look at his numbers from last year, but even the offensive production down to just 237 with the average. Another breaking ball for Matfield, missing outside. And talking more about Fisher, team most 6 errors defensively. Sent to first, Jorman, couple steps back, tosses to Matfield, covering the bag for out number 3. 3 runners left on in the first inning. Then Matfield responds by sending the captains down 1-2-3. In the top of the second, we'll step aside and come back with the home half of this inning. Lynchburg looking to break open the scoring column.
You're missing. It really don't matter to me. I'm just happy to be here. I might go crazy.
Back in Lynchburg, Virginia, the Hornets will send 4, 5, 6 to the plate. That's Avery Neves, P.J. Alvenos, and Gavin Collins. No runs so far today. Jay Cassidy retakes the mound, faced the minimum in his first inning of work, aided by the 5-4-3 double play off the bat of Garrett Jackson. Neves, where do we begin this conversation? How about first in the ODAC at batting average, on-base percentage, and slugging percentage? And that's what we'll talk about here in his first AB. First pitch from Cassidy, skips across the plate. And then even looking at the box score from yesterday's win, how about Neves? 2 for 4, 3 runs scored, 3 RBIs, also drew a walk. Type of season that the Hornet left fielder is enjoying, his video game type of production. Cassidy misses high and outside. Hitters count 2-0. This is the exact wrong place you want to find yourself if you're a pitcher having to take on Neves, especially to start an inning, because pitching coaches will tell you leadoff walks result in runs 90 to 100% of the time, depending on who the coach is. It's one of those things where you have to decide: do you want to come at Neves, face what potential damage he can deal, or do you try to put pitch around him, see if he'll get himself out, or ultimately, if he doesn't chase, keep in mind Neves leads the ODAC in walks. He's got good plate discipline. Slider sent to the screen. The count even at 2-2. Cassidy with a nice response here. I think this is one of the best outcomes you could have after falling behind 2-0 to Neves. Get a called strike, off speed. Neves doesn't make clean contact, and now back to an even battle. It's a .425 average for Neves this season. 8 home runs, most in the ODAC. And Neves with a drive to left but foul. So both teams have a bat that leads their respective conference in home runs. For Christopher Newport, it's Justin Bowers with 8. For Lynchburg, it's Avery Neves with the same total. Two. This is outside. And it's an absolutely gorgeous day for baseball in Lynchburg, Virginia. The sun is out. Clouds are few and far between. And it's right around 61 degrees this afternoon. Neves, deep drive out towards right center field, over his crossing. And he's there to make the grab for out number 2. Loud contact from Neves, but all for naught. He becomes the first out to the bottom of the second.
Now hitting number 18, PJ Alvenos.
Final note on the weather here in Lynchburg. It is blowing a little bit in, maybe from center field, from left center. And that wind certainly didn't aid Neves on that fly out. PJ Alvenos comes to the plate for the first time. Left on left battle. Breaking ball on the outside corner for a called strike 1. Cassidy misses down in the dirt. That evens the count. Numbers for Alvenos this season: average of 287, 29 RBIs. We noted tied for 7th in the conference in that category. 1-1, a big cut from Alvenos. Comes up empty. Pitcher's count now. A ball and 2 strikes. Cassidy, conference rookie of the year. Goes breaking ball, misses up and inside. And Cassidy not only named Coast to Coast Freshman of the Year, but also tabbed to conference second team. All conference. Last time out for Cassidy, 7 innings in a win at Mary Washington. Alvenos pokes this the other way, but he'll hang up. Martirano settles underneath it for out number 2. Lynchburg still searching for their first hit of the day. Gavin Collins, opportunity to supply it. Collins came up with an RBI double. Top of the 3rd in yesterday's 9-4 Lynchburg win over Christopher Newport. And Collins, game by game, has had the offensive production started to get back to where it was last year when he was the ODAC Freshman of the Year. So it was kind of a fun battle here, mirroring one another. Cassidy, Coast to Coast Freshman of the Year last year. Collins, the same, but for the ODAC a season ago. 0-1 slider, down and inside. Talk more about that most recent appearance for Cassidy. Only 3 hits allowed, 1 earned run surrendered, 11 strikeouts. 4th time this year the Southpaw has had 10 or more Ks in a game. And Cassidy finds the outside corner and gets a called strike. Now back-to-back hitters to trail in the count 1-2 to the crafty lefty. I think another big strength for Cassidy is limiting extra base hits, which of course is something every pitcher wants. Only 9 extra base hits allowed this year. 5 doubles, 2 triples, and 2 home runs. Collins doesn't try to do too much with the 1-2 offering. Drives it back up the middle and has Lynchburg's first hit of the day.
Now hitting number 19, Riley O'Donovan.
1 on, 2 away. O'Donovan coming to the plate for Lynchburg. Hornets DH. Hitting .292 this season. He and Fiedler, the primary catchers for this squad. More often than not, you'll see Fiedler behind the plate with O'Donovan's bat still in the mix. Today slotted in the 7th spot. Collins takes off on the first pitch. Breaking ball in between swing, and it's a strike to O'Donovan. The throw to second, short hopped on its way there, and Collins has a stolen base. And that's the 4th of the year. The Lynchburg shortstop, Collins, yet to be caught this season as well. So now an RBI opportunity for O'Donovan. He's got 14 ribbies this season. Cassidy misses down the dirt. Good job, Drew Caroline blocking it up. Not going to let Collins move up any further. Count to 1-1. Most recent pitch, the 28th toss by Cassidy. Obviously showcased by going 7 strong against Mary Washington. It was the 3rd time Cassidy was able to go 7 innings deep. Did the same thing against Susquehanna and at North Carolina Wesleyan. So certainly a pitcher who has some longevity to his name. Two one on the ground, left side, backhanded by Fisher. No play for the shortstop to make. Infield single moves Collins to third. No, Donovan is on safely at first. So now it's Holden Fiedler. Step to the plate, looking to come through the 2-out RBI spot. Caroline steps out in front of the plate. He'll relay first and third signs. Take another look. Not a whole lot Fisher could do on that play. Once you're that deep in the hole, you take a glance to third, but a throw there will do more harm than it could do any good. So a wise play made by Fisher. Plus you have 2 down in the inning. Cassidy run into a little bit of trouble here in the latter half of the 2nd, but early in the game you want to showcase that trust in your pitcher. First plate appearance for Fiedler. First pitch of the at-bat, a called strike. Fiedler's average up and over 300 at 313. He has 11 RBIs this year. Picked up 4 in a midweek win more than a week back against Pfeiffer. There's a grand slam in the mix of a 6-run bottom of the 3rd. In on the hands, Fiedler will have to hustle up the first base line. Charging in, Elliott tosses to first in time for out number 3. 2 runners left on for Lynchburg. First real chance we've seen the Hornets knocking on the door to get into the scoring column, but they'll have to wait a little longer. We'll step aside and come back with the top of the 3rd as CNU will bring the top of the order to the plate. Top of the third inning, Connor Clark, Scott Crossan, and Justin Bowers scheduled to return to the plate for Christopher Newport captains. Looking for our first run of the afternoon. Another inning of action for Nick Matfield. He retired the side in the top of the second. Clark flew out to center field his first time up. Watched the first pitch down and inside. Get a look at the CNU dugout. Captains, prior to yesterday's loss, had been one of the hottest teams in the country. Clark grounded to second. Alvano snags and makes the throw to first for out number one. Talking more about where the captains were at prior to yesterday's loss. Looking at a team that had won 4 in a row, including dominant wins against Mary Washington, 9-2 and 15-2, then a 17-6 drumming of EMU. Closer win, but a win nonetheless against Methodist at home, 5-3, and even dating back before that 4-game win streak, it was wins in 9 of the last 10 played for CNU before yesterday's loss. So look at it as wins in 9 of the last 11. They're still playing great baseball. Chance to avenge the loss at the hands of the Hornets yesterday. Matfield misses inside, count to 1-1. You see fifth-year head coach Lucas Jones win against Pfeiffer. The 100th career win for Coach Jones. Just in his 5th season, he's enjoyed myriad of success for the Hornets. Of course, named Conference Coach of the Year last season. Led Lynchburg to the ODAC title and into the NCAA tournament. Former player for Lynchburg, All-American back in 2005. Matfield coats the inside corner and has his first strikeout. Check that, 3rd strikeout on the day. Setting down Crossan.
Now hitting number 5, Justin Bowers.
The righty has now retired 7 consecutive. Justin Bowers, the last hit that he's allowed. It's the only hit Matfield has allowed, for that matter. This at-bat starts with a fastball coated on the outside corner. Bowers 1 for 1 today, had his 11th double on the season, his first time up. Mentioned the 8 home runs, also has 27 RBIs. Bowers again flirting with the right field line. This one will slice foul, make its way into the captain's bullpen. Matfield a pitch away from consecutive perfect innings now. Beautiful day in Lynchburg. You see some of the 4-legged friends in attendance. Certainly a great day to bring your dog out at the park. Slider off the outside corner, appeal up the first base line. They'll say Bowers was able to check his swing. Matfield has the signs from Fiedler. Sets up on the outside corner. Same pitch, Bowers. No doubt about this one. He went around and goes down as the 4th strikeout on the day for Nick Matfield, who has tossed back-to-back perfect frames and keeps it scoreless as we step aside and come back with the bottom of the 3rd inning from Fox Field.
Hi, Mara Willis. How are you? Pretty good.
A lot of people go to the universities to find something to be a part of while getting their education. And when you come here, Lynchburg is that something, it becomes a family. It doesn't matter how long ago you had your professor, they still remember you and they remember all of the hard work that you put in. They're always there for you and they always want to do the best that they can to help you succeed. Here you learn how to love one another regardless of what's going on or what you believe. you leave here better than what you came in. It's what the school's really good at doing.
Carson Atkins to lead things off. Home half the third inning. Couple runners left on the base paths last inning for the Hornets. And it was runners at the corners with 2 away. Holden Fiedler ultimately grounds out to second for Jay Cassidy to get through the inning unscathed. Lefty deals first pitch for a strike to Atkins. Center fielder holds a .261 average this season. Shows bunt. Pulls back. Gets the offering on the outside. Black. The count now 0-2. Cassidy faced the minimum in his first inning. Navigated through the clutter with 2 away last inning. Now a chance. Start out the third on a positive note. Carson Atkins is a 9-hole hitter, and this has to be said. He's not your ordinary 9-hole man, though. Lots of pop, plenty of speed, and really serves as that secondary leadoff bat. In between swing, tag applied by Caroline, and it's the first strikeout of the day for Cassidy. A strong end to the first time through the lineup card for the Southpaw. Logan Webster to the plate for a second time. Webster flew out to right field his first time up. Watches the first pitch downstairs. Another fun note about Jay Cassidy. Obviously, Christopher Newport in the Newport News area, as was Cassidy's Summer League team this past year, playing for the Peninsula Pilots, members of the Coastal Plain League. 4 games played, 3 starts, 1-1 record, 5.40 ERA for Cassidy. And Cassidy with the Pilots, the team they played the most was the Tri-City Chili Peppers, who had a member of the Lynchburg Hornets on their roster. For those who may know, that was Brandon Pond, reigning ODAC Pitcher of the Year and Lynchburg's opening day arm. So fitting in some degree. Pond obviously out for the rest of the season, but the Chili Peppers took on the Pilots more than any other team on their schedule. And the same was the other way around. Get to see Cassidy here on the bump. Would have been really fitting if it was Cassidy versus Pond, but injuries prevented that from happening this afternoon. Webster down the count 1-2, fouls this one off. We'll have to battle the rest of the way. After Webster, it'll be Josh Jorman, who drew a walk back in the first. Fastball, high and outside, counts at 2-2. Two-two, letter high, Webster swings through the fastball. Back-to-back punch outs for Jay Cassidy. And the CNU starter now an out away from facing the minimum for a second time this afternoon. You can call it a 1-2-3 first inning. Webster flew out. Jorman, who's now coming to the plate, drew a walk. Then it was Jackson, who's on deck, grounding into a double play. So not a true 1-2-3 frame, but faced the minimum. Left on left. Cassidy misses inside. Talk about the recent schedule for Christopher Newport. Obviously the win yesterday for Lynchburg. A big one for the Hornets. But you even look at the recent schedule beyond yesterday's win. It's Lynchburg's team whose offense is getting back on track. 9 runs yesterday, second consecutive game with the Hornets scoring 9. That comes after a doubleheader last weekend against Ferrum, where Lynchburg scored a total of 5 runs between the 2 games. So it's good to see Lynchburg getting back on track after a tough weekend against the Panthers. 2-0 off the inside corner. Count swells to 3-0. All told, it's 3 consecutive wins for the Hornets and W's in 7 of their last 8 played. Steve Jorman has the green light. 3-0 on its way. Misses low and away, and instead it's a 4-pitch walk to put Jorman on once again. 2 walks issued by Cassidy. Both have been offered to Jorman. Not only is Jorman hitting .441 on the year, about a .513 on-base percentage prior to today's 2-walk start through his first 2 plate appearances. Jackson grounded into a double play last inning. Won't be able to do the same here with 2 down, top of the 3rd. But if you're a Lynchburg fan, you're hoping Jackson, the bounce back AB here. Third baseman swings to the first pitch fastball. Healthy leadoff from first for Jorman. On the season, Jorman 0 for 1 on stolen base attempts. And it's obviously that much harder to run when it's a lefty on the bump. 1-1. Sent out of play. Get a look at the crowd for today's contest. Solid attendance. Obviously, Christopher Newport not too far away. There are some Captains fans here as well, but great afternoon for baseball, and that's only backed up by everybody making it out to Fox Field this afternoon. Close miss for Cassidy. The count now 2-2. Should be noted, though, but Jay Cassidy on the mound. Runners are 4 for 5, stealing against, going back to Jorman over at first. A little uncharacteristic for left-handed pitcher. Jorman gets an extra step off from first. 2's across the scoreboard. Pitch downstairs, snap throw up to first. Jorman tagged out. 2-3 put out. Caroline on the throw, Bowers on the tag, and Jorman picked off for out number 3. We're 1/3 of the way through this contest. Still looking for our first run. You're watching Lynchburg and Christopher Newport. Battle between 2 top 25 teams on LHSN.
I was looking for a school that could provide me with the athletics, academics to pursue my career, a wind symphony to pursue my passion for music, and really have a nice general atmosphere. The professors here are really unique, their background and their passion for teaching. It's really a place where you can explore. Lynchburg gives you the opportunity to fail, but also get back up in that period of time and learn from your mistakes. I can make these mistakes within the school environment, but also with the support of other friends, and be ready for the real world when you graduate.
Top of the 4th inning, Lynchburg, Christopher Newport, scoreless through the first 3 innings of action. Nick Matfield retakes the mound after consecutive 1, 2, 3 innings tossed in the 2nd and 3rd. All told, the righty has retired 8 consecutive. The last to reach is this inning's leadoff bat for CNU. Daniel Elliott drew a walk. That loaded the bases back in the 1st. The man on deck, Michael Martirano, went down looking, and then Alec Riley's due up 3rd this inning. Grounded out to 2nd. That's how Matfield got through a rocky first inning without issuing a run. Elliott, a switch hitter, again hitting from the left side. Watches the changeup low and away. Today marks 14th all-time meeting between these two squads. With a win yesterday, Lynchburg now holds a slight edge at 7-6 against the Captains. Matfield misses once again. Bit of an oddity when you look at those records. CNU is actually 3-1 when playing here at Fox Field, but it's been back and forth since 2012 as the two teams have alternated wins and losses from that point to where we are heading into today's game. And if that trend were to continue, if you're a Captains fan, you're happy to see that trend continue with a chance to avenge yesterday's 9-4 loss. .30 from Matfield. Grooved in for a strike. Elliott with the team best .413 average for the Captains. That's good for second in the conference. Elliott also 7th in the league in RBIs. Elliott thought he had a walk a pitch prior, stays in the box, and ends up picking up his first hit of the day.
Now up to bat, number 13, Michael Martirano.
Now both teams even with 2 hits on the afternoon. Leadoff man on for the first time for Christopher Newport. Michael Martirano with a chance to avenge the backwards K. And it was Michael Martirano who got CNU in the scoring column yesterday. How about a grand slam in the bottom of the 7th? Here Martirano lays down a bunt, goes foul up the first base line. That's certainly different from a grand slam yesterday, giving Lynchburg a different look. Martirano again shows bunt, the slider. This is off the outside corner. That home run yesterday from Martirano, his second of the season. Took his RBI total from 9 up to 13. Looking to keep his bat hot. Elliott runs well over at first. 0 for 1 on stolen base attempts, but a middle infielder, you can expect a fair amount of speed. Throw over from Matfield, he's thinking the same thing. Martirano lays down the bunt. It goes right back to Matfield. Only one play to make. It's over at first. The sacrifice does its job. Elliott upstanding at second. It's a 1-3 putout for those keeping track at home. Martirano becomes the first out to the 4th inning. RBI opportunity for Alec Riley. With 2 down, the bases loaded. Riley grounded out to second. DH comes today, hitting just over 300 at 304. First pitch. Drops in for a called strike. Lynchburg defense plays straight away against the left-handed bat. For Matfield trying to live low in the zone. Trying to get a ground ball here, and if it allows the runner to advance to third. A spot here with 1 down already. You're trying to minimize potential damage. And even if Elliott moves to third, if you get the second out of the inning, it's all worth it. Allows you to face Braden Hodges, who's on deck. Look at that. That's a true one-on-one matchup. Focus on the hitter. Try to get through the inning unscathed once again. Line the other way. This will stay fair up the left field line. Great piece of hitting from Riley in an 0-2 count. He'll trade places with Elliott. RBI double. CNU strikes first. And the Captains now lead 1-0.
Now hitting number 3,
Alec Riley, I'd say he avenged grounding out with 2 down in the first. Has his second double of the season, RBI number 8. And Riley, now the runner in scoring position as Braden Hodges. Can make it 2-0. Slider, well off the outside corner. 1-0 count to start. And Holden Fielder will take a trip from behind the plate, try to settle down Matfield. Lynchburg starter only gave up 1 hit coming into this contest, already surrendered 2 this frame. Matfield, over his last 4 starts, has not issued more than 2 earned runs. You can even take that past a start against York. So the last 5 outings, 2 earned runs or less for Matfield. Over the last 4, he's given up 3 earned runs combined. All that to say, Matfield is great at minimizing damage. Slider off the outside corner. Close miss, but a miss nonetheless makes it 2 balls, no strikes for Hodges. Matfield attacks with a fastball. Gets a fly ball out to left. Neves camps underneath it and makes the grab for a big second out to the inning. That will go a long way for Matfield, trying to hold the damage at 1 across. Drew Caroline, the next up for the Captains, 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Getting that first run on the board for CNU has to feel good. Again, going back to the conversation we had at the very start of this broadcast, the Captains are the ones who lost yesterday, and you felt like they wanted to land that first punch, and that they have done this afternoon. It's only 1 run. You'd love to see this be a multi-run frame and be a little bit more than a jab as opposed to a hook. To continue with the boxing analogy, Matfield misses off the outside corner. Caroline hitting .230 this season, does have 8 RBIs, 2 doubles. But a front door breaking ball for Matfield. Not one you see all that often. Pays dividends. Evens the count at 1-all. And with 2 down in the inning, Riley, even if he's not the most fleet of foot, with 2 away in the inning, he's running on contact. Hit to the outfield. Should give CNU the second run of the inning. Driven to center. Bat goes Atkins. And the center fielder there to make the grab to retire Caroline for the final out to the top of the 4th. But damage is done. Alec Riley opens our scoring with an RBI double and an 0-2 count, poking it the other way down the left field line. CNU leads 1-0 as we step aside and come back to the bottom of the 4th.
The biggest thing that I've taken from Westover is probably my interactions with faculty. I started working with Dr. Fryer. He's always available for help, and he makes sure that I get to do the experiments and not just be there while he does them. I didn't want to limit myself when I came here to just taking the prereqs for med school. I wanted to get a full, well-rounded education, and I definitely found that in the Westover program. It's given me the opportunity to keep playing soccer at a competitive level, but also it's given me the ability to be a student and to pursue other activities such as EMS. 100% do Westover because it's not something they're going to regret, and it's going to be a lot of work, but so is everything else. It's just going to help build their education that they've already had and make them a better person for it.
Bottom of the 4th inning, Lynchburg trails 1-0 as the Captains push a run across, thanks in part to Alec Riley's RBI double. The top half of this inning, as the Hornets look for a response, Garrett Jackson steps back into the right-handed batter's box. That's where he was when the final out was recorded in the bottom of the 3rd. Just in case you missed it, it was Josh Dorman being picked off. 2-3 put out. Caroline with the throw. Bowers with the tag at first. That allowed Cassidy to have his 2nd inning in which he faced the minimum. Again, not a true 1-2-3, similar to what happened in the first, but for Cassidy, not sure he has a preference as long minimum gets through. 0 on the board. Insert head nod here. And Cassidy now sees Jackson once again. After that, it's Avery Neves, then P.J. Alvenos. The focus here for Cassidy. Got to retire Jackson. Do not allow Neves to come to the plate with a chance to do more damage than just 1 run. Give it 1 swing of the bat. Jackson officially 0 for 1, hitting that double play in the 1st inning. Got into a deep count against Cassidy, so in a lot of ways you could look at this as a pseudo 3rd plate appearance against the left-handed starter. Look in the Lynchburg dugout, including Coach Jones, left side of your screen. 2-0 on the outside corner. And speaking of coaches, when you talk about CNU, you got to talk about one of the best in the biz, John Harvell, closing in on 600 career wins. How about 582 in his career? And that's contrasted to 283 losses. Win percentage right around the area of 65%. Fisher boots their grounder up the middle. Jackson aboard via the E6. I can tell you with certainty, errors like that will cause gray hairs for Coach Harvell. 34th error of the season for CNU. Jackson safely aboard at first. Now both teams with a fielding mishap this afternoon. Here it is one more time. And it looks like Fisher was starting to make the transfer from glove to hand prior to totally having the grounder in his glove. Neves is 0-for-1 with a fly out to right field. First pitch swinging, driven up the middle. Fisher lays out the throw to second, not in time. I mean, Fisher showcases a ton of range even getting to that ball, but Jackson hustling hard to second, not assuming it was through to center. That's a big hustle point in the column for Jackson. Now 2 on, no down. Here it is one more time. Fisher was cheating up the middle in double play depth. That helps him get to that before it reaches center. But a bang-bang play at second. Jackson called safe. Alvenos to the plate, cheating up in front of the third base bag as Hodges. Alvenos will show bunt, pulls back as the breaking ball misses outside. Alvenos tries to lay it down again, and instead sends the bunt back to the screen. Apologies. Appears that first pitch was calling for a strike. So it's now 0-2 to Alvenos. Have to assume the bunt is off. That count is correct. Jackson runs well for a corner infield at second. So a hit here from Alvenos. Top 7 in the ODAC in RBIs. Chance to add one more to that total. Fouled away by Alvenos. Battle continues between he and Cassidy. Lynchburg second baseman. Full out to left field his first time up. Long look in for Cassidy. Either runner being held on. 0-2, high and inside. Big inning for Lynchburg, trying to respond to the run across in the top of the fourth, and especially given the start to this inning, this is one you got to at least get that run back. Get the first two, come to the plate on the base pass successfully. I think that was why you saw the emphasis for Alvenos. Guy who swings it well, your 5-hole hitter. Don't necessarily want to take the bat out of his hands, but if you could lay down the sack bunt, move up the runners, might be a sacrifice worth making, right? Sacrifice isn't what you lose, but what you gain. But now I think 2 strikes as Alvenos fouls this one away. Get a true test, an opportunity for the second baseman. Tie this game up. Other side of the same coin, Cassidy. Strikeout count, punch out would do wonders. That or a ground ball double play. That's your best friend right here. Leg kick, the 1-2, up above the letters to even the count. That's what makes this Lynchburg team so tough. We talked about the walk totals, and that's one thing to say. You know, Avery Neves, guy who obviously has been a force to be reckoned with this season. He's going to draw a lot of walks. He's going to get that Barry Bonds type of treatment. Not to insinuate anything there, but those Giants days, that's the parallel drawing here. But Garrett Jackson, P.J. Alvenos, those guys swing it well, but that's about plate discipline and your approach at the plate, not getting yourself out. instead forcing the pitcher to execute just like this. Alvenos gets a pitch over the heart of the plate, sends it to center, and has the RBI single to drive home Garrett Jackson. Case in point, Alvenos ties us up 1-1.
Now up to bat, number 15, Gavin Collins.
Scoreboard is even. 1 run across for both teams, 3 hits, and a fielding mishap as well. Neves moves up to second. Alvenos aboard at first after corralling RBI number 30 to his season. Still no down in the inning. Collins is 1 for 1 with a single. Also stole second. First pitch, knee high, and a called strike. In front of first base is Bowers. See if Collins shows bunt here, trailing the count 0-1. He won't. Instead, lines the 0-1 foul. So Cassidy in a similar spot where he was against Alvenos. Great battle put together by P.J. Alvenos. Got it to an even count. Ultimately, Cassidy, that last pitch, caught a little too much of the plate. And considering what Alvenos had seen prior, you got to think he was happy and jumped all over it and gets the RBI for his efforts. Now a 1-2 count for Collins. Chance for Lynchburg shortstop to do something similar. 16 RBIs this year for Collins. Cassidy misses in the dirt. Blocked up by Caroline, but gets away from the catcher, works up the first base line, and the wild pitch takes away the double play, and that's a crucial outcome for Cassidy and CNU, but also allows Collins with one swing of the bat to potentially drive in a pair. 2-2 count. Infield will play in for the captains. Two, outer half. Skied out of play. The infield playing in, it does take away one avenue of a productive out for Collins. But some give and take there. And there's something about hard ground ball in the infield for Collins here. Feel good about your chance of it sneaking through. Just the reaction time is so much more narrow if you're an infielder. Not hit overly hard. Only one play, though, for Elliott to make as he took a step back. Got to play the hop. Elliott makes the right decision in my eyes. But it's an RBI 4-3 ground out for Collins that drives home Neves and Lynchburg. Now takes their first of the day at 2-1. Alvenos also up 90 feet. Now stands at third. That's just the first out of the inning. Infield continues to play in for CNU. O'Donovan with a chance. Make it a 3-run bottom of the fourth. Could do so with a hit or, yet again, talking about productive outs. Spot here where Donovan can do something similar to what we just saw from Collins. First pitch, breaking ball. Misses the zone. So Lynchburg's middle infield, RBI each for Alvenos and Collins. Donovan looking to keep the momentum rolling. This curveball finds the zone, lands on the inside corner to make it 1-1. Wind still blowing in from left center, swirling, now blowing in from straightaway center. Cassidy to the plate, evades the bat of O'Donovan. Pitcher's count 1-2. And despite Alvenos and Collins both driving in runs, 3 consecutive hitters where Cassidy's held a 1-2 count. It's the hitter at the plate. And despite giving up 2 runs here, if you're a CNU fan, that is a positive quality to see in your starter. 1-2, just misses the outside corner. So if you are a Captains fan watching, have given up a pair of runs, but if Cassidy continues to able to work ahead in the count, it's a long baseball game. Plenty of opportunities to get those runs back. And if Cassidy continues to pitch like he has for the most part today, should be in a good spot. Here, Cassidy leaves it belt high, and O'Donovan makes him pay. Driven to right center, RBI base knock. Alvenos scores in Lynchburg, now up 3-1.
Now up to bat, number 23, Holden Fiedler.
RBIs from 3 consecutive Hornets. Alvenos, Collins, O'Donovan, Holden Fiedler. 0 for 1 today. Has O'Donovan on at first ahead of him. First pitch of the at-bat. Down the heart of the plate. It's not an overly large lead for O'Donovan at first. He has not attempted a stolen base or attempted to steal a base yet this season. The 0-1 cut on and missed. And again, Cassidy able to get out in front of the count. A couple of mistake pitches, if you want to call them. They weren't egregious mistakes, but catches too much to the plate against Alvenos and then left the pitch up to O'Donovan a moment ago. 0-2, low and inside. I mean, that's easy to say because, again, these are not drastic mistakes made by Cassidy, but this is a Lynchburg offense hitting .291, on-base percentage that's second in the ODAC. They take a lot of walks, hitting nearly 300 as a squad. I mean, they force you to be nearly perfect on the mound. Fiedler sends it back up the middle. 4-3 double play. Good for out number 2 and 3, and that ends the home half of the fourth, but the damage has been done by Lynchburg. 3 runs across thanks to RBIs from PJ Alvenos, Gavin Collins, and Riley O'Donovan. Have the Hornets playing with the lead for the first time today, ahead 3-1 as we head to the top of the fifth.
Get small classes, nationally recognized mentoring and advising, and a community that has your back every step of the way at the University of Lynchburg.
3-1 your score after the 4 runs we've seen so far all come across in the 4th inning of action. The run for CNU off an RBI double from Alec Riley, and then Lynchburg with a great response, 3 runs across thanks to combined efforts from Alvenos, Collins, O'Donovan, plus the efforts of those ahead of him with Jackson and Neves to get on and then eventually come around to score.
Number 2, Jonathan Fisher.
Nick Matfield surrendered the run last inning, but now pitching with the lead, gets through this inning, he'll be in line for the win. He'll go toe-to-toe with 9-1-2 in the CNU order. That's Jonathan Fisher, Connor Clark, Scott Crossan. Fisher 0 for 1 today. Swings through the first pitch curveball. And of the 3 runs, only 2 of which are earned against the starter Cassidy, and that's due in part to a leadoff error off the bat of Jackson. Fisher had the fielding mishap. He has a chance to get that back. His leadoff man in the top of the 5th serves as that secondary leadoff man, and that's why part of why you see the change in offensive constructions and how you write a lineup card. You'll see a better bat in the 9 spot, and then ultimately common thinking has moved to you put your best hitter in the 2 hole, and that's for situations just like this where it's 9-1-2, but really you could look at it as 1-2-3 in certain situations. And if you're a Captains fan, you're certainly hoping that comes to fruition here. 2-1 for Matfield. Curveball, cut on and missed. Fiedler sets up in the outside corner. Breaking pitch. Fisher goes down swinging. 5th strikeout of the day for Matfield. And that completes a 2nd time through the lineup card.
Now to bat, number 1, Connor Clark.
All in all, results have been strong so far for Matfield. Just surrendered 3 hits, the 5 strikeouts, just 1 walk. Pitch count at 65 on the day for the righty. 3rd battle between Clark and Matfield. Center fielder flowing out to center and then grounded out to 2nd. Fastball on the outside black, results in a called strike. Matfield misses away. And with number 1 at the plate, the count is 1-1 with 1 down. Lofted to center. A couple steps over for Atkins, who makes the grab for out number 2.
Now to bat, number 4, Scott Costa.
4 in a row retired by Matfield after issuing a hit to 2 of the first 3 he faced last inning. That's really the art of being a starting pitcher. I've had coaches say this from a myriad of different sports. It's tough to be the better team 100% throughout a game, and it's something similar there as a starter. It's hard to be better than everybody you face in a day. I mean, how often do you see perfect games, right? How often do you see no-nos, right? They're a rarity for a reason. And I think Matfield has had an awesome response in my eyes. You give up a run, okay, that's going to happen. Now he's bouncing back, pitching to soft contact, including this foul ball, making it 0-2. This inning also gave him his 5th strikeout, so this was the type of response that Coach Jones and in specific associate head coach Travis Beasley wanted to see from their starting pitcher. Also an update from Moon Field. Game 1 of a doubleheader between Shenandoah and Lynchburg goes to the favor of the Northern Hornets. Shenandoah takes the opener of a twin bill 3-2 over Lynchburg. Game 2 also come to you on LHSN if you want to alternate between these 2 games. I can't blame you. Scott Crossan at the plate, 0-2. Head into an E3. Made it all the way up to 3rd in the 1st. Then struck out back in the 3rd inning. Another 0-2. Again, fouled away. Crossan, 2nd team all coast to coast a year ago. Hitting .351 this season. One of 3 players for the Captains with more than 20 RBIs. Crossan sends a weak grounder back to Matfield. The underhand toss to first completes a 1-2-3, top of the 5th, tossed by sophomore Nick Matfield. Great response after surrendering a run last inning. We're halfway through this one. We'll step aside and come back with the bottom of the 5th. Lynchburg out in front of Christopher Newport, 3-1.
My name is Joshua Carr. I am a senior. I am a theater major as well as a history minor. I live in 5th Street, the historic black neighborhood. The money came in, transfer, scholarship, all that. I appreciate that greatly. I'm smart too. So they gave it like, you smart, here. You know what I'm saying? You come here to do a job. I came here to do a job. A student's job is to get that degree and make something of ourselves. I love the diversity here. I love the different interests of people here. I can teach somebody that doesn't know what I know. and that person can teach me something that I don't know that they know. So that's what I love about my school. They respect that, and they allow us to showcase and voice our expressions. That's what you get here. You get diversity. You get different people with different knowledge coming together, sharing information, and helping each other out. That's what I love. That's why I say people. I love the people here.
Bottom of the 5th inning, we'll see Lynchburg send 9-1-2 to the plate. That's Carson Atkins. Then Logan Webster, Josh Jorman. 3 runs across last inning. 6 came to the plate. Lynchburg looking to make it runs pushed across in back-to-back innings. Atkins today, 0 for 1. Strikeout as leadoff man in the 3rd. That was the 2nd of 2 innings where starter Jay Cassidy has faced the minimum. First pitch, curveball on the inside corner. And you look at the response from Nick Matfield in the top half of this inning after giving up a run in the 4th. 1, 2, 3. The captains went down in order. If you're a CNU fan, you're hoping to see something similar for Cassidy. It actually comes against the exact same spot in the lineup card, too. 9-1-2. Which is certainly an oddity. The 0-2 to Atkins. At the knees and a called strike 3. Backwards K, good for the 3rd punch out for Jay Cassidy. A strong start to the bottom of the 5th. Atkins now down on strikes for a 2nd time this afternoon, and the lineup card flips over for a 2nd time today. Webster 0 for 2 with a flyout and a strikeout. Pitch comes in letter high, fouled away by the freshman. Webster's been out in right field throughout this contest. Average at .273. Today becomes the 16th start of the season. Big cut from Webster. Can make contact. 1-2 the count. Pitcher's count. Webster up for a battle. Webster, a first-year player hailing from Chesapeake, Virginia. He really has stepped into big role right away. Initially was in that DH spot, then the injury to Cam Lane has forced Webster to the outfield. And despite trailing the count, Webster has his first hit of the day. Josh Jorman, without an official at-bat, he's drawn 2 walks instead. Jorman, junior from Oak Hill, Virginia, went to James Madison High School. Another one of those players that maybe wasn't in the starting lineup day one, opening day, but has found a role. Has taken the most of it. Out in front of this count, 1-0. Catcher Caroline sets up on the outside corner. Cassidy will throw over. Webster back safely. Webster is 3 for 3 on stolen base chances. Noted earlier, runners 4 for 5 when running against Cassidy, so they have picked their chances well. Another throw over. Different look. Of course, that's another layer of intrigue added into what we're seeing. What move is Cassidy going to go to? Have we seen his best yet? trying to keep Webster on. Over at first, giving him a couple different pickoff looks. 2-0 count to Jorman at the plate. It was a 4-pitch walk his last time up in the third. Shallow left field. On the fringe of the infield dirt and the outfield grass, Fisher is there to make the catch.
Now up to bat, number 21, Garrett Jackson.
Garrett Jackson back to the plate, 0 for 2. He was the leadoff man last inning. Reached on an error from the aforementioned Fisher. Came around to score the first of 3 runs for Lynchburg. Now a chance for Jackson to pick up his first base knock. One on, 2 down. First pitch from Cassidy. Misses the zone, appeal up the first base line. They'll say Jackson was able to check his swing. Cassidy missed in the same spot, inflates the count to 2-0. Lynchburg looking to snag win number 4 in a row, and in total 8 over the last 9 games played. Meanwhile, Captains trailing by 2. They're going to have a 0 put up on the board in the bottom of the 5th. Get their offense back to the plate and avenge yesterday's 9-4 loss. Jackson, high fly ball, right center field. In front of the warning track, Connor Clark there to make the catch for out number 3. Logan Webster gets his first base hit of the day, but is then stranded at first. Cassidy faces a minimum +1, and we're through 5. Headed to the top of the 6th. Hornets lead the Captains 3-1.
Be ready for anything, okay?
Come on, let's go together. Together, let's go. Come on. Let's go, keep going.
The best to it. Wait, yep. Yeah. Cool. Good one. All right, guys, you see the meat grinder down here?
Justin Bowers will lead things off as we have reached the top of the 6th inning. After Bowers will come the 4-hole hitter, Daniel Elliott, followed by left fielder Michael Marcurano. Bowers gets a first pitch breaking ball, slapped out to left. Eves makes the catch for out number 1.
Now up to bat, number 7, Daniel Elliott.
Back to the plate is Daniel Elliott, yet to be retired today. Drew a walk, then singled his last time up. Switch hitter. And second base so far today, hitting .413 prior to today's contest. First pitch, misses down and outside. Matfield retired the side in order in the top of the 5th and has now set down 6 straight. His high-octane captain's offense, hitting .293 coming into today's contest. On-base percentage up and over 400. Another miss from Matfield. Count swells to 3-0. Three-0 finds the outside corner, making it 3-1. Lynchburg 14-1 at home this season. Something to water here in Lynchburg, Virginia. The Hornets have been stellar defending James C. Fox Field. Elliott, and a hitter's count, rolls one to Alvenos. The throw to first in time. 2 down, top of the 6th.
Off the bat, number 13, Michael Marcherano.
Michael Marcherano looking for his first hit of the day. Struck out looking in the first. Laid down a sacrifice bunt his last time up. It was a grand slam yesterday for Marcherano. Gave CNU all 4 runs. They had in yesterday's contest. Matfield fires a strike. And the Lynchburg starter not away from consecutive 1, 2, 3 frames. And if he sets down Marcherano, it would be 8 in a row retired. And that would match the longest stretch that Matfield has had against the CNU order. He had retired 8 straight. The final 2 outs of the first, and then back-to-back 1, 2, 3 innings in the second and third. Chance to emulate something similar here. 1-2 count. The CNU left fielder. Fiedler sets up on the outside corner. Slider, waved at and missed. Strikeout number 6 for Nick Matfield. Back-to-back 1, 2, 3 innings and 8 in a row retired by the Hornets starter. Through 5.5, we'll step aside and come back with a home half the 6th. Lynchburg out in front of Christopher Newport, 3-1.
What you're missing.
3-1 your score. We have made it to the bottom of the 6th inning. Lynchburg will send middle of the order to the plate. That's Avery Neves, P.J. Alvenos, and Gavin Collins. Making up the 4, 5, 6 portion of the order. And Jake Cassidy stays out on the mound for CNU. Cassidy faced the minimum +1 last inning. Surrendered a 1-out single to Logan Webster, but the Lynchburg right fielder didn't make it any further than that. All 4 runs in this game came in the 4th. Nothing but zeros the rest of the way. Neves to lead things off, fouls off the first pitch he gets. Neves 1 for 2 today. Had a single, came around to score in that 3-run bottom of the 4th. Neves yesterday had a 2-run home run that unsure if it's come out of orbit yet. And 3 RBIs on the day in total. Curveball, Cassidy. And he was way out in front of it. Pitchers count at 0-2. Cassidy so far today, 89 pitches thrown. Next one will be 90. 3 strikeouts, 2 walks, 2 earned runs. For the lefty, southpaw deals. Popped up by Neves. Shallow right field. Battling the sun, crossing north of the second baseman, Daniel Elliott. Looked like they had a clean read on it the whole way through. And it didn't touch anybody's glove. That will likely be a leadoff double for Neves. And that is exactly the case. 7th hit of the day for Lynchburg. And for Neves, double number 9 of the year, and probably a safe bet to make that was one that traveled the shortest. But an RBI opportunity now for P.J. Alvenos. RBI single and a 2-2 count last time up. Mighty cut. Alvenos comes up empty and trails the count 0-1. Curveball. Just misses the inside corner. Alvenos, the 2021 ODAC Tournament Most Outstanding Player. Senior from Annapolis, Maryland. Been a key cog in the middle of the Lynchburg order. Watches another breaking ball. It's a called strike on the outside corner. Pitcher's count, Cassidy comes set, goes up and inside, and hits Alvenos. Alvenos wears the elbow guard, and it pays dividends here.
Now up to bat, number 15, Gavin Collins.
First 2 to come to the plate this inning have now reached, and that is a tough break if you're Cassidy. You're trying to attack that inside corner left-on-left matchup. We talked in the very early going to this broadcast about how that could be advantageous for Cassidy, but this pitch just comes too far inside and it squanders a 1-2 pitcher's count. It puts Alvenos on at first. Lynchburg knock on the door, chance to extend their 2-run lead. Gavin Collins enjoyed a nice day. Had a single in the second, RBI ground out in the 4th. And a trip to the mound for CNU. And it looks like the captains are going to make the call to the bullpen. So we'll take a moment to step aside and come back and tell you about the new arm for Christopher Newport. Hornets knock on the door, trying to extend their 3-1 lead here on LHSN.
A lot of people go to the universities to find something to be a part of while getting their education. And when you come here,
Colin Darcy answers the call out of the pen. The line not final for CNU starter Jay Cassidy. 5+ innings tossed, 7 hits allowed, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, and as it stands right now, 3 runs issued, 2 of which are earned against Cassidy. Darcy looking to get through the jam. 2 on, no outs. Neves at second, Alvenos on at first. Collins returns to the plate. He'll become the first to see someone other than Cassidy. Not wasting any time, Collins deposits a single to right field. Strong throw from Crossan will hold Neves at third, and the bases are loaded for Lynchburg. And we'll have a pinch hitter for Lynchburg. Instead of Riley O'Donovan, we'll see Cam Lane step into the plate. Lane had battled injuries, but working his way back into the lineup card. And today it's through the form of a pinch hit opportunity, just as he did yesterday. Came around to score after drawing a walk in his lone plate appearance. Check that, 1 of 2 plate appearances. He also struck out yesterday against the Captains. The infield will play in for CNU. Darcy, backdoor breaking ball. Starts to count at 0-1. Lane holds a .357 average on the season. Yesterday was the first time he had played in the game and not been the starter. Today becomes the second. Lane has the fastball powered past him. Trails in the count, 0-2. But a spot here where the once leadoff man for Lynchburg come through in a big way and break this game open. Bottom of the 6th inning. Lynchburg already up by 2 runs. The 0-2. Misses inside. O'Donovan was 2 for 2, including an RBI single his last time up. Bit of a tough draw for O'Donovan, but he certainly ends his day on a high note. 1-2 to Lane. At the knees and a called strike 3. Colin Darcy gets his first punch out of the day, 4th on the afternoon for the CNU pitching staff. A group that's averaging more than 12 strikeouts per 9 innings. Those totals down a little bit this afternoon. But a big punch out for Darcy. Now you're a ground ball double play away from navigating through the 6th without issuing a run. Holden Fiedler, 0 for 2, hit into a double play last inning. That was the 40th turn this year by the Captains. Front door slider. The 0-1, down the dirt. Blocked up by Caroline. Runners forced to hold. Oh for 2 this afternoon, but Fiedler came in the day hitting over 300, 11 RBIs. Corner still playing in for the Captains. See on your screen, middle infield at double play depth. Darcy attacks the knees, makes it 1-2. Long look in for the reliever. Darcy comes set. Fastball in jeopardy of squandering a bases loaded, no out opportunity. Inning started with a bloop double from Neves. Alvenos was hit by a pitch when a 1-2 count. Collins swung at the first pitch he got from Darcy. picked up a single to right. Since then, Lane, Fiedler both go down looking. Carson Atkins 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. Sends one to second. Fielded by Elliott. The toss just in time with Fisher covering the bag. 4-6 fielder's choice, and Colin Darcy works through a bases loaded, no out jam and keeps it a 3-1 ball game. 2/3 of the way through, on at the top of the 7th. Hornets lead the Captains.
Look what you're missing.
Nick Matfield retakes the mound, looking to get through his 7th inning of work. He'll go toe-to-toe with Alec Riley, Braden Hodges, then Drew Caroline in his 7th frame of work. Leading things off, Riley had the big RBI double back in the top of the 4th inning, and that is the only run we've seen from CNU this afternoon.
Now up to bat, number 27, Alec Riley.
Riley 1 for 2 all told, grounded out to second with the bases loaded and 2 away in the first. Speaking of bases loaded, how about the work from Colin Darcy, putting a 0 next to the Hornets line in the bottom of the 6th after having the bases loaded with no outs. Backward strikeouts against Lane, Fiedler, and Carson Atkins. Hot shot back up the middle, but CNU infield up for the task. 4-6 fielder's choice. Into the inning without any damage done to the Captains. 2-0 count. Matfield fires a strike, outer half. Neves forced to run back to the track, makes the grab. Neves covers a ton of ground, and Matfield has retired 9 in a row now. That marks the longest of the day. The Lynchburg starter. Talking more about Matfield. His longest start of the season was 6 innings tossed in the win, 9-5 over number 9 Washington. That was the 2nd game of the year. So 6 1/3. Now the longest appearance of the season for Matfield. And the first pitch on its way. Waved at a miss by Hodges. Third baseman for the Captains, 0 for 2. Popped out in foul territory to the catcher Fiedler, then flew out to left. Time called at the plate. Hodges trying to break the rhythm of Matfield. Fastball in on the hands. The right-handed bat, chopped foul. Wind picking up, pulling out towards right center field. This bottom trio of the CNU order, Hodges, Caroline, Fisher, all hit from the right side. They want to take advantage, they'll have to drive it the other way. 0-2, yellow light swing. Hodges, they'll say they went around. Fiedler up the first base line, completes. Strikeout number 7 of the day for
Now
Nick
up to bat,
Matfield.
number 11, Drew Caroline.
Which 7 strikeouts this afternoon matches a season best, tying the total Matfield had in that win against Washington in his first start of the year. 10 in a row retired by the Lynchburg starter. First pitch in for a strike to Drew Caroline. There was an arm up and throwing for Lynchburg in the pen. This may well be the final inning we get to see from Matfield. Getting loose is Adam Doffelmeyer. Slider, another in-between swing. They'll say Caroline was able to check it and moves the count to 1-1. Catcher over 2 with a strikeout and a fly out to center. Slider. Pitcher's pitch on the outside corner makes it 1-2. Matfield can set a new season best with 8 strikeouts. A pitch away from just that. Fouled away by Caroline. These two teams have alternated wins and losses dating back to 2012. Lynchburg make it back-to-back wins after taking yesterday's matchup 9-4. Currently lead 3-1. Matfield back to the slider. Caroline lays off. Count even at 2-all with 2 away. Two. Misses off the inside corner. Lynchburg defense started to make their way back to the dugout. Thinking it was strike 3, instead we'll see a full count offering from the hand of Matfield. Slider rolled to third. Jackson picks it up. Throw across the infield is in time to make it 3 consecutive 1, 2, 3 innings tossed by Nick Matfield, who has retired 11 consecutive in the captain's order. We step aside and come back with the bottom of the 7th. Lynchburg leading the number 24 team in the country, the Captains, 3-1. Bottom of the 7th inning. Colin Darcy out for a full inning of action, but may as well be his second, as Darcy able to navigate through a bases-loaded, no-out jam by striking out Lane Fiedler, then got Atkins to ground out to second. And that brings Jay Cassidy's line to a final note with 3 runs against the starter, only 2 of which are earned. Darcy starts the bottom of the 7th, breaking ball in the inside corner to Webster. Start the count at 0-1. Webster 1 for 3. Hit game his last time up in the 5th. Fastball, line foul, first base side. Not including the first inning toss by Darcy. Today does mark his 5th appearance of the season. The year is at 1.5. Now into his 5th appearance. It's 7 innings tossed by Darcy. 7 strikeouts to 1 walk, and opponents hitting .217 against. Slider plenty of bite, but Webster able to check his swing. Darcy set, back to the plate. Slider off the face mask of Drew Caroline. Give him a moment to get back in. And Caroline wastes no time, already back into his stance. That's a tough kid if I've seen one. Caroline, a junior from Chantilly, Virginia, went to Freedom High School. Wastes no time trying to get play back underway. Still a pitcher's count. Another 1-2. Fastball, shot to second. Elliott gets his glove down in time. Makes the throw to first, and Webster down for out number 1.
Now to bat, number 25, Josh Jorman.
Josh Jorman back to the plate, 0 for 1. Popped out to short his last time up. Before that, had drawn 2 walks. Good job here for Darcy. Keep it out a 7-1 contest. 2 up for the captains when we head to the top of the 8th will be 9-1-2. Shortstop Jonathan Fisher to lead things off. Jorman sends it the other way. Hodges picks it up. Makes a throw across the infield for out number 2. Battle between 2 top 25 teams in the country. Lynchburg, CNU. Had a fun game yesterday. Lynchburg led at 1.7-0. Grand slam from the left fielder Michael Marcherano. Made it 7-4. Lynchburg got a couple late runs in the 9th. Bring it to its 9-4 final. All 4 runs we've seen today came in the 4th inning. Jackson looking to avoid a 1-2-3 bottom of the 7th. Takes the first pitch on the inside corner. Dating back to last innings, 6 consecutive retired by Darcy, which is certainly impressive. And Nick Matfield on the other side set down 11 in a row in the CNU order. Count to 0-2. Darcy to the plate. Fastball fought off by Jackson. Lynchburg third baseman 0 for 3 today. Reach on an error in the 4th. The first of 3 to come around that inning. The other 2 trips to the plate saw Jackson hit into an inning-ending double play in the 1st. Flew out to center back in the 5th. Another 0-2. Slider just below the knees. Caroline and Darcy alike wanted to call a 3rd strike. Instead, see a 1-2 pitch on its way here in a moment. Slider sent back to the mound. Darcy fields his position and brings a close to the 7th inning with a 1-2-3 home half of the frame, and 6 in a row retired by the CNU reliever. On the top of the 8th we go. Lynchburg leads CNU 3-1.
I would definitely say to reach out. Me personally, I know several of my classmates would be more than happy to talk, to get a text, get a phone call, get an email, whatever it may be, and just answer any questions that you have. The faculty here, they're great, but of course coming in, sometimes it's better to hear it from a student than from a future professor. So reach out. Nobody is afraid or unwilling to help. I would have loved to have someone to reach out to, and now that we're here, we are those people that they can reach out to. So feel free, ask questions. We're here to help you go through what we've just been through.
Jonathan Fisher, Connor Clark, Scott Croson. Scheduled to the plate for CNU as the Captains trail by a pair of runs. Nick Matfield retakes the mound. We have seen Adam Doffelmeyer, left-handed reliever, tossing for Lynchburg. And also a lemur sighting in the Hornets bullpen. 1-0 count to start against Fisher. Matfield misses high, make it 2-0. The Captains shortstop, who's without a hit today, grounded out to first, then struck out his last time up. Matfield has retired 11 consecutive. Deals fastball, rolled foul. And this is a spot here where I don't want to speculate too much or try to open up the mind of associate head coach Travis Beasley, who works heavily with the pitching staff. But this could be a spot where right on right, Fisher at the plate versus Matfield. Then you bring in Doffelmeyer to face the lefties Clark and Croson. 2-1, outside corner, called strike 2. And then all that could then set up Grayson Thurman attempting to corral his 9th save once we reach the 9th inning. Fiedler sets up on the outside corner. Slider. Fisher underneath it. It'll stay in the infield. Couple steps back for Collins, who makes the catch. 12 consecutive. Set down by Nick Matfield. And Coach Travis Beasley out of the Lynchburg dugout. I believe we will see what I had theorized. 1 down, top of the 8th inning. Connor Clark at the plate. Has struggled against Matfield. 0 for 3, but Matfield will head back to the dugout. He picked up a quality start, and he's currently in line for the win. He was stellar this afternoon. We'll step aside and come back and tell you about the new arm for Lynchburg when we come back. Hornets lead the Captains 3-1.
A lot of people go to the universities to find something to be a part of while getting their education. And when you come here, Lynchburg is that something, it becomes a family. It doesn't matter how long ago you had your professor, they still remember you and they remember all of the hard work that you put in. They're always there for you, and they always want to do the best that they can to help you succeed. Here, you learn how to love one another regardless of what's going on or what you believe. You leave here better than what you came in. It's what this school's really good at doing.
My speculation was nearly there. We won't see Adam Doffelmeyer. Instead, it's Grayson Thurman coming out of the bullpen for Lynchburg. He pitched the 9th inning yesterday. It was a scoreless inning. Did not go down as a save. Thurman leads the ODAC in that category with 8 this season. First pitch of the day, misses high and away to Connor Clark, CNU center fielder, 0 for 3. Pair of flyouts to center, also grounded out to second. Thurman with a pause, gets a foul ball off the bat of Clark, making it 1-1. And it's not only the saves total that's impressive for Thurman. This is a stat straight out of Kerry Wood, early days with the Cubs. 16 strikeouts per 9 innings. Another foul ball from Clark sent towards the Lynchburg dugout, and chance for Thurman pick up his first K on the afternoon. The starter Nick Matfield, his line is final. 7 1/3, just 3 hits allowed. 1 earned run against his line, 1 walk, to 7 strikeouts. Have a day, Nick Matfield. 1-2. Breaking ball. Misses the inside corner. Count even at 2-2 to Clark. On deck is Scott Crossan. CNU down to their final 5 outs. Now they come against one of the toughest relievers in all of Division III. Another curveball, softly hit. Thurman will have to make the sprint to the bag. And he beat him there. The lemur does it all. Here in his natural habitat, a scurry to first. And maybe a half a step ahead of Clark for out number 2. And including the stretch for Matfield. Last runner to reach for CNU was the double from Alec Riley. 13 consecutive. Retired by the Lynchburg pitching staff. First pitch to Crossan is off the outside corner. Right fielder still in search of his first hit of the day. Reached on an error in the first, struck out in the third, then grounded out to the mound his last time up. Thurman finds the outside corner. That'll even the count at 1-1. Cut on and missed. Thurman goes to the breaking ball. Crossan swings through it. Fiedler makes the throw up the first base line. First strikeout of the day for Grayson Thurman. 8th for the Hornets pitching staff. 14 consecutive retired by Lynchburg. We're through 7.5. Stepping aside, coming back with a home half the 8th. Lynchburg looking for insurance before we head to the final inning of action on LHSN. Welcome back to Lynchburg, Virginia. Conversation up the first base line from our umpires. Unsure exactly what about, perhaps. But the put out from Thurman, 1 out assisted, seldomly seen, but it was a second out at the top of the 8th inning to retire Connor Clark. And Coach Harvell came out of the dugout for CNU upset with the call. There was some contact between Thurman and the runner Clark, and it looks like Coach Harvell has been ejected. And now another member of the CNU coaching staff out of the dugout. And a correction, I don't think that was Coach Harvell that was thrown out. I believe it was actually Andy Wissinger, who we see talking with one of the umpires now. Coach Wissinger ejected from today's contest. That halts Colin Darcy from taking the mound once again. Home half the 8th. Coach Wissinger out of the dugouts. And play will now resume. It's 6 in a row retired by Darcy, looking to put up one more zero. Get his offense back to the plate in the ninth. Down to their final 3 outs, needing 2 runs to tie it up. It was a 1-2-3. Bottom of the 7th, tossed by Darcy. Taking down Webster, Jorman, Jackson. That means it's Neves, Alvenos, Collins coming to the plate this inning. Neves takes the first pitch he gets on the inside corner. Lynchburg left fielder 2 for 3 today, had a double in the 6th inning. And I would venture to say it was the shortest traveled double he's had this season. He's got 9 all told on the year. Darcy misses up and away. Darcy quickly set. Now misses off the inside corner. Two 2-1 pitch. Slider. Rocketed out towards left center field. And down just in front of the wall. Avery Neves, second double of the day. And I'd say that second was much more the norm we've become accustomed to with Avery Neves.
Now to bat, number 18, PJ Alvenos.
Neves up to 10 doubles this season, and Lynchburg in search of a run of insurance. Make the job for Grayson Thurman a little bit easier once we get to the 9th. And it's an RBI opportunity for PJ Alvenos, already with 1 ribby today. 1 for 2. Was hit by a pitch. And a 1-2 count his last time up. Made it all the way up to second. That's where he was stranded. It was a bases loaded jam. Colin Darcy was able to pitch it through. Fastball, letter high, pump past Alvenos. Neves does run well at second. Hit to the outfield. Could well push this to a 3-run difference. Right on left matchup. Line foul just over the Lynchburg dugout. Ton of credit to what Colin Darcy has done leading up to this inning. He's kept CNU alive in this contest by putting zeros up on the board. Captain's asking for one more scoreless frame from the right-handed reliever. 0-2. Cut on and missed. Alvenos goes down on strikes. Third punch out for Darcy. Freshman from Westchester, New York, has come up in a big spot this afternoon. Last time out, it was 2 innings thrown against Methodist. Prior to that, 2 innings against Eastern Mennonite. And in the relief appearance against Methodist, Darcy picked up his only win on the season. 1-0 record all told. Neves takes off. First pitch to Collins. A called strike. The throw pulls Hodges off the bag. And that is just something you don't normally see from a guy who leads the conference in batting average, on-base percentage, slugging percentage, walks, etc., etc. Neves not only picks up a stolen base, swipes third against Drew Caroline. Neves, 10th stolen base of the season on his 14th attempt. 0-1 count to Collins. Been productive all 3 times up. 2 for 3. The one time he was retired was an RBI ground out. He can do something similar here. But he'll have to battle, trailing the count 0-2. Long look in for Darcy. Infield plays in behind him. 0-2. Chopped softly back to the mound. Darcy can't field it initially, then makes the throw to first. It's another RBI ground out for Gavin Collins. And the trend continues. Collins has been productive all 4 times he's come to the plate. And he has his second RBI on the afternoon. Lynchburg now leads 4-1. Still a save opportunity, barring anything else that comes this way in the bottom of the 8th. Two RBIs for Collins today have him up to 18 on the year. Good to see that bat warming up for Lynchburg. Makes that lineup all the more dangerous as Cam Lane to the plate for a second time today, behind on the fastball. Lane had a pinch hit opportunity in the 6th inning, hitting for Riley O'Donovan. Went down on strikes. It was the first of 3 consecutive outs recorded by Darcy. 0-1, cut on a miss to make it 0-2. See Coach Jones up the third base line. His offense scores for the first time since the 4th. 0-2. Down swinging goes Cam Lane. 4th strikeout for Darcy brings a close to the 8th inning of action. But the Hornets strike a run of insurance off a ground out from Collins that plates Avery Neves. 4-1 your score as we head to the top of the 9th. CNU looking to make the comeback down to their final 3 outs.
When you come to the University of Lynchburg to earn a master's degree in athletic training, you'll spend time in the classroom, but you'll also spend a lot of time in our top-notch facilities learning from athletic trainers and working closely with our student athletes. In the Graduate Cadaver Lab, you'll learn about the human body in the best way possible by actually studying the human body. This will provide a foundation to make you a much better athletic trainer. In the athletic training laboratory, you'll get hands-on experience, practicing your skills, applying concepts from the classroom, and working with faculty on research projects. It's also where our hydrotherapy facilities are. This space is also used by students for studying and practicing skills outside of class time. In the Sports Medicine Clinic and Turner Gymnasium, you'll work with student athletes from more than 20 NCAA Division III sports teams, helping get them back to practice and into the game as soon as possible. As an athletic training student, you're a big part of the success of our sports teams and the success of the local athletic teams. We see this relationship as a win-win situation. You learn, and that helps us win.
Grayson Thurman back on the mound for Lynchburg. He'll take on 3, 4, 5 in the CNU order. That's Justin Bowers, Daniel Elliott, Michael Marcherano. First pitch to Bowers, cut on and missed. How about this for a nugget? Grayson Thurman looking for his 9th save of the year. Today will continue a trend. Yesterday, just the 2nd time this season he's pitched only an inning. Every other appearance has been more than a single frame. Breaking ball, cut on a miss, and it's quickly an 0-2 count to Bowers. So not only has Thurman been one of the best closers in the ODAC, across Division III, college baseball, however you want to weigh it, he's been doing it through more than just 3 outs, which makes it all the more impressive. Bowers at the plate, 1 for 3. The hit came his first time up. It was a double in the first. Since then, it's been a strikeout and a fly out to left. 1-2, letter high. Swung on and missed. First punch out of the inning, 2nd of the day for Thurman, 9th for Lynchburg as a team.
Now up to bat, number 7, Daniel Elliott.
Daniel Elliott, the next up, 1 for 2, also drawn a walk. Elliott was the leadoff man in the 4th, picked up a single, came around to score the only run today for CNU. Breaking ball from Thurman starts the count at 0-1. And you talk about what the CNU team has done before yesterday's game, where they scored 4. It's a solid amount of offensive production. And ask Lynchburg, that's where they're at right now. Before that, they had a close win against Methodist, 5-3, but it was 17 runs against EMU, 9 and 15 in a doubleheader against Mary Washington. This is a CNU offense that could erupt at any moment, but between Matfield and now Thurman, the Hornets had their number. And then you could go back to yesterday's win. You know, it's the starter, Zach Potts, really setting the tone. Goes 6 strong. Did give up the grand slam. The man on deck, Marcherano. But that was really the one mistake that Potts ran into. In between swing, sent back to Thurman. Toss to first, and Elliott down for out number 2. Finish that note. Then it was Travis Shoemate, Jack Batchmore, and Grayson Thurman rounding out the rest of the way yesterday for Lynchburg. Today, just 2 arms needed. Matfield goes through 7 1/3. He's in line for the win after the quality start. And as CNU is down to their final out, Thurman, 1 hitter away from picking up his 9th save of the season. He already leads the ODAC in that category. Will create some more separation if he can close it down against Marchurano. Left fielder 0 for 2. Pair of strikeouts. Also laid down a sac bunt. First pitch swinging. Marchurano comes up empty. Oh, 1 fastball. Powered past Marchurano. And now the world is Thurman's oyster. The fastball, Marchurano has not been able to catch up, and you also have the big breaking 12-6 curveball in his back pocket. Captains down to their final strike. Thurman to the plate. Elevates with the fastball. Marchurano can't help but go around. Strikeout number 3 for Grayson Thurman completes a 1-2-3 top of the 9th. Thurman with his 9th save of the season, and the final out becomes the 10th strikeout of the day for the Lynchburg pitching staff. Nick Matfield elevates to 5-0 in the season. Jay Cassidy, the starter for CNU, falls to 6-2, despite, all in all, pitching pretty well today. Lynchburg improves to 23-5 on the season. And how about 15-1 at home? Meanwhile, CNU suffers consecutive losses at the hands of the Hornets for the first time in a long time. And now CNU 19-8 on the year. This game obviously doesn't affect the conference records, but a fun battle over the weekend. Lynchburg wins yesterday's game at CNU 9-4 and then makes it a 2-for-2 weekend, winning 4-1 here at Fox Field. Some final thoughts and we'll get you out of here. CNU, it came up short today, but Jay Cassidy looked really, really solid. And Colin Darcy, that's a freshman that you might have something there if you're a Captains fan. Get the bats going, and this game can certainly play out in a different way. And taking on the number 5 team in the country, it's obviously going to be a tough battle. For Lynchburg, taking on a fellow top 25 squad, this was a validating win to confirm what we saw yesterday, that the Hornets were, quote-unquote, the better squad. And that just becomes all the more true today. And Lynchburg's offense got a lot in the 4th, then one more tacked on the 8th. It was a sound, fundamental, clinical showing for the Hornets, headlined by a couple of stellar showings from Nick Matfield, the starter, going 7 1/3, and then Grayson Thurman gets the final inning in 2/3 and the save. That'll do it for us at Fox Field. I'd like to give a shout-out to my director, Sam Rice, and the rest of our fantastic LHSN broadcast crew. My name's TJ Wingard, and until next time, we are signing off.